I don't have any developed thoughts yet on the concepts of religious authority, but I believe it is interesting to see a different sort of Christianity emerging in Texas. And I dread one day, fear one day, that there will be a book I refer to as the Texas Bible, in the way that we had the King James Bible, who was someone wealthy and powerful enough to just pay and propagate and disseminate their version of the Bible. I live in fear of a collective or conglomerate of billionaires in Texas creating their Texas Bible, and these sort of awful images and hate that would be in a book that is antithetical to my idea that you have rights, not because of the law or because of the strength of the law or your ability to defend them, but because God said so. We will see the writing of a book where no one has rights or all is hated because God said so. When does Ramadan end? I don't know. I remember reading somewhere, I might be just misconstruing the wrong ceremony, but Ramadan ends at a particular portion of the moon cycle. I believe it is like set up to something in the moon. And a couple years ago, the Saudi government personally tried to determine the end date of Ramadan. And I might not know a lot about Ramadan, but I do know about the caliph and the idea of the caliphate, and that the only person to decide the end of Ramadan is the caliph. And it is some bold political maneuvering to do the job, the office of the caliph, without the name of the caliph. Because you are afraid of the criticism, of the obvious, that people do not see a Saudi prince as their caliph to determine Ramadan. And so you hide and announce it through the news, through the state media, that we say Ramadan is over. Not the caliph, but we, the cowards. Too afraid to say you are caliph, but strong enough to say you think you know when Ramadan ends. The Texas Bible and the caliph. I have a spit, don't touch me, and kill list, where if I were to be in the room with these people, I would either immediately spit on you, not allow you to touch me, or I would become irrationally, uncontrollably violent, and you would have to kill me to stop me from hurting you. Monarchs are between my spit and kill list for reasons of the Saudi princes in the UAE. We fought a civil war to get rid of slaves. I will kill a king to free his slaves. If I were ever to be in the room with a ceremonial monarch or assumed ceremonial monarch. Someone who is powerless but taken care of by their state. Someone who doesn't have $5 to their name but gets driven around, gets the toothpaste placed on their toothbrush, and gets a televised wedding. I will spit on you. Do not think you could even make eye contact with me or be in my room. Do not assume to shake my hand. You will meet wetness. I will spit on you. You are disgusting to me. You are monstrous. I am Catholic. No kings but God. No lords on earth but Christ. You are abomination. I will spit on you to spare the diplomatic incident of murder. I will kill you to free slaves. I will spit on you because you do not have any. Do not touch me. Men like Secretary of War Hegseth cannot touch me because they are pathetic. You have infidel tattooed on your body. I explain to the Taliban and Islamic terrorist societies why you cannot exist, and I do it from a place of knowledge. You are so insecure of the threat you pose to other people, you feel you have to display it to them. They would see me, know me, hate me, and it is fear, because that is power. 3,000 miles away, my laptop trembled a government, and you put a tattoo on your body because you have nothing to say. What is a tribesperson? Why do the governments of Iraq, Syria, Afghanistan, Botswana, Uganda, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Pakistan, why do they suffer from attacks? What is a tribesperson? What is Islam to a tribesperson? When you read the Epic of Gilgamesh, when you meet Enkidu the Wild Man, become aware of Sumerian civilization existing in Persia, in Mesopotamia, in Babylon. Become aware that the tribespeople in the governments of Iran and Afghanistan are Enkidu the Wild Man without Islam. What separates Enkidu the Wild Man from Gilgamesh is a lack of law, a lack of productivity, a lack of purpose, a lack of hospitality, a lack of Islam. Have you read the Quran? Are you aware that it is not only a religious text, but also has laws around hospitality and manners and law? All of a sudden, people who existed in fringe outside tribal states for thousands of years that had no centralized concept of law got a book on the Silk Road in the mail one day that came with a set of laws, a set of manners, a set of rules and hospitality that you as a Muslim had to be aware of, that you could not plead ignorance of the law. You are a worshiper of Allah, right? You know what is haram. You've read the Quran. You know the punishment. You know the law. And all of a sudden, people who 2,000 years ago were Enkidu and Gilgamesh have a book of law. And it showed up on their doorstep. When you're watching law and politics and crime shows and you're in that judge's room or in the lawyer's office and there's all those red books up on the wall, that is distilled into the nature of the Quran, and you as a Muslim had to have read it, right? Third world countries are not examples of Syria or Iraq or Persia, Iran. Because of who these people have always been, how is it that the Phoenicians, the Syrians, the Babylonians, the Iraqi, the Persians, the Iranian have become third world? You flip on the news and you see bombed out buildings, and they claim that is a third world country. You flip on the news and you see countries like Uzbekistan and Turkmenistan and Botswana and Uganda, and they are third world countries. But they do not have bombed out buildings. Rather, they have places buildings have never stood. A third world country is not a place that was once the home of an empire, a bastion of civilization. A third world country is not a place with bombed out buildings on a TV. A third world country is a place where a building has never stood. What makes a tribesperson is to live in places empires never conquered. What are the Adal? What are the a picture is worth 1,000 words, and I can't remember the words. I'll show you a picture. Who are these people to you? That right here is the flag of South Sudan. I probably severely mistaken, and I should probably keep my mouth shut, but I believe those are the Dinka people. And It's so hard to get a job when you have no phone, and it's hard to get a phone when you have no job. And what is money to a tribesperson? T-Mobile does not accept tilapia as a payment plan for a cell phone. How do tribespeople leave the fringe of society? A third world country is a place that has had 2,000 years of continuous human habitation, and they have not managed to build anything, any empire out of it. A third world country is a place where people have always left historically. The peoples of Uzbekistan and Turkmenistan and Mongolia left. And that was the point. That was the great Khan's journey. His mission was to leave Mongolia. Turkey exists because people left Turkmenistan. Turkey is Turk-I. Turki. Turk-E. Turkistan. Pakistan. Turkey of the Turkish people. They left to go found a better empire. Why do people always invade India and Pakistan from Afghanistan? Because people have lived there for 2,000 years, and going all the way back to Ashoka the Great, they have not been able to make habitation there successful. And so they left to go found other Indian sultanates, to go do what Ashoka the Great undid. The modern problem is now you are trapped in a third world country. We no longer have a system of like I'll eat my words. I'll take you. You ask, where do I go? And for 2,000 years, you said maybe India, maybe Turkey, maybe South Africa. Come to Chicago. I got a lot of jobs cooking up. I'm gonna need a lot of people. How many people is a desalination plant worth in Iran? I think the conflict in Iran is interesting because there isn't a conflict in Iran. The capital city of Tehran has water rationing. They quite literally cannot get enough water to their citizens of the capital city, but we think they can get enough gasoline to put in a navy and blockade straits or sail to America or fight back? They can't even get water, y'all. Every time they show us tanks being blown up and ships being sunk, they're not moving because they can't get gasoline. They can't even get water, y'all. How do they get diesel and gasoline into these vehicles? They don't. There is no conflict in Iran. I am of the idea that the US government killed the supreme leader of Iran. When that missile struck Ayatollah, he was in the city, in an armored car, with a general. And they said, "Oh my God, look, Ayatollah, an American missile." And he said, "Oh!" Bang. In that 30 seconds, someone in that car with him shot the supreme leader. And the fact that it took such a long time for the central government to present the current supreme leader represents a disagreement behind the scenes of the generals who were complicit in the assassination to put him up there. And currently, there's a secret civil war we're not hearing about where generals are killing each other one after another to see who's going to be the next supreme leader, to see who's going to be the one to kill that guy. When this guy dies, the next leader of Iran will be a general you have not heard of, but someone in the United States government has met before, because that man shot Ayatollah. That man shot Ayatollah's son, the supreme leader now. Be aware, that man was a turncoat when we found him. He killed his government leader. We will not be surprised when he starts killing civilians or other nationals of the country, because he was a turncoat when we found him.